Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be going over the family collection of Allis-Chalmers tractors. Oliver and a Massey down there too, but mostly Allis-Chalmers. I'm going to start off right at the bottom of the line with the oldest one that we have. This is a 1947 Allis-Chalmers C. I actually learned how to drive tractor on this tractor. Right here on this road, driving up and down in first gear. And then I could still barely reach the pedals at that point, but when I was real young, my older brother would ride along with me on that bench seat, and I'd steer it and learned how to steer the tractor. And then once I got a little bit older, was able to reach all the pedals and everything, then I got to driving it. You know, as I got better, we kept shifting up gears, and I tell you, once we put that thing in third gear and I got to go up and down the road, I was on top of the world. So this one holds some sentimental value to me, for sure. Now I've had both my daughters out driving it kind of in the same way, so that was very cool. Very happy to still see this one around and running good. You guys remember the work that I did to it last year with the head gasket and a couple other little things while we were inside of it. Good little tractor. Got my cheat sheet here, because there's no way I can remember the years of all of these. Okay, so now this one is the CA without a snap coupler. This one's a 1952. Oh, they're both 1952s. This one here does not have the snap coupler on it. Down there, just the pin. It's the two-row cultivator. This tractor was bought running, had a knock to the engine. And this was actually one of the first ones that I overhauled on the farm many years ago. And it's been running since. Dad actually rents this out to a local farmer that does organic. Tried to offer him the 4-row numerous times, and he seems to like the CA and 2 rows, what he grew up on, so we don't argue with him. But that's a good running little tractor. The cultivator is nice and tight on that one. Hasn't seen a lot of hours as far as the cultivator goes. Good running little tractor there. In the process of getting converted over to 12 volt. Everything is converted except we need to put a alternator on there. Right now you slap 12 volt battery in there and off it goes. Alright, so here's another 1952 Allis-Chalmers CA. This one has got the snap coupler under it, down there. And then it's also got the 2-row cultivator. Now this tractor was bought in a box. It was pretty much torn apart, head off, everything was, it was in a box, let's put it that way. Along with a lot of these pieces and parts that we had to try to figure out. You know, we had never seen a fertilizer applicator before, so it was kind of interesting and to figure all of that out. Most of the credit goes to my brother because he was the one that needed it first. I just kind of helped him find the parts out of the boxes, and he put it together. But that's fertilizer for side dressing. This thing is excellent. We usually use it on the corn, but we put so much chicken manure on it. Well, on the sweet corn, side dress urea right about the V6 stage. But like I said, we put so much chicken manure on it that this year we don't need it. So anyway, this one was bought in the box. I put it back together, got it running, overhauled it while it was apart. And this is another good running little CA. Handy little thing. So we're going to move on to this next tractor, and part of this is the planter that's on this tractor. These fertilizer boxes right here, they come off right here. These bolts and this whole fertilizer with that orange ring comes off, and they bolt right there. They bolt on, they run off of the shafts here, and you've got fertilizer applicator while you're planting. Really cool, I think. This planter I usually use for sweet corn and stuff. This year I didn't because we were running low on time and it was buried, so I just slapped it in the big planter and planted that up. But it is attached to a WD that is a 1951 WD. It's got the snap coupler on it. A couple of things some people don't know. Don't mind the single tire up there. We needed to rob that for something else. But a couple of differences on the WDs throughout the series. Obviously this one's got a snap coupler under it, which was an option that you could have put on them at some point. I'm not exactly sure if it was at the start of the production or not. Something I don't know, but this is a later model WD, and one of the biggest differences between this one and an earlier WD, like my brother's right here, these had, the gearing ratio was different in the steering. So you got to turn that steering more to get it to turn, but it's easier to steer. And it's quite a bit easier. You know, you got to, like I said, you got to turn that wheel a little bit more. But the gearing is such that it made it a lot easier to steer. So move on to my brother's WD. Now that's got the old style gearing in it, and it is a sow. Night and day difference when you get on them. You know, you don't have to turn it very much to get it to turn, but it's Armstrong for sure. I do not know what year this is. A little bit earlier than mine over there. So this right here is an Allis-Chalmers rake, PTO driven. You can set these rakes up to do quite a bit. They're pretty fancy for back in their day. That kind of goes with Allis-Chalmers trying to be ahead of their times, and they seem to always do that. So this one has just got the pin hitch down there, and like I said, that gearing ratio in the front end makes her harder to turn. Alright, we'll go on to my other brother's WD-45. This engine, him and Bob years ago got this engine out of a junkyard. I don't know what it was in. They went in there, they put new rings in it, put it back together, and the thing has been running like a champ ever since. We don't know what size pistons are in it or anything. It's block with no serial number on the side of it or anything, so it was aftermarket block, you know, bought from Allis-Chalmers at some point, and put into a tractor chassis. I believe they got it out of another 45 at a junkyard. But yeah, rings in it, and thing's been running great. We just put it in this chassis last year. There's a video on that if you guys want to check that out. But we swapped this out of a diesel chassis that we are building a diesel engine to put in that chassis. Update on that, the block is almost done. We should be getting it back here in the next couple of weeks. So kind of a quick update on the WD-45 diesel build. Did I say what year this was? Nope, I don't have it on the year. The chassis we took it out of, the diesel chassis, is a 56. So I don't know what year this is. Doesn't matter. It's a WD-45 and it's awesome. Alright, so now moving on to the D14 gas. The D14 is a 1957. This tractor was bought running, and we've run it, and just last year I noticed we're getting a little bit of exhaust bubbles in the radiator up there, so we haven't been running it at all, and I gotta change a head gasket in it, which these old things, if it's just a head gasket, I'm happy. Not a big deal, especially on this little engine. I mean, have that done in a day if we actually get to doing it. Again, this is snap coupler tractor. Yeah, it's just a 14. Just 14. It's got the funny shift pattern. Yada, yada, yada. This is a really, really good running tractor, other than the head gasket. This thing has got no engine noise, or fires right up. Even with the bad head gasket, just fires right up. And this is a really good running tractor. I used to pull this tractor. It had some old straight bar Goodyears on the back, and while I was on the road, then they Dad and brothers and everybody, they put new tires on it because they were all, the old ones are all dry rotted. And these new BKTs, these aren't even, they're Speedways, I guess. Grip King Speedways. Just garbage on the track, let's put it that way. All right, moving on to Dad's new D15 diesel. This thing is awesome. Don't know the year on this either. However, this has got the 4-cylinder Buda engine in it. This is, you take a 262 Buda engine like out of the diesel D17s, and you cut 2 cylinders off of it. Bore, stroke, everything is the same internally. It's just got 2 less cylinders. Same with like the 301s and the 433s, how they did those, or Chevy with their 305s and their 4.3s. Just literally cut off 2 cylinders, and there you go, 4-cylinder Buda engine. This thing is a beast, that is for sure. Kind of a rare bird. Well, not kind of, they are rare. I've been a avid Alice guy my whole life, and I've only seen 2 of them in person, and here sits one of them. So that's that on the D15. We got a little bigger tires on there and was pulling it and stuff. That was quite a fun time. You guys can check that out on my channel as well. Moving on, my 615 is supposed to be right here. That's back behind the house, so I'm going to walk back there and talk about it. So here is the 615. This is a Series 2 gas D15 on steroids, basically. Just not the engine, it's just the 160 Power Creator engine in it, which is a sought after engine. I wish that I just had one to put into a C or a CA or a D14 or something. It'd be an awfully fun little puller. But anyway, this is a 615. It's the industrial model of the D15. Got the big beefy loader on there and the grease from us over greasing it, but at least you know that we keep it greased, right? What's cool about this tractor, and different, really different from the, you noticed this is the shuttle clutch over here. So now instead of this being high and low, this is forward and reverse. So you got 4 forward speeds and 4 reverse speeds. Just kind of neat. Down here, they literally just grinded off the reverse there in the middle. Really handy for loading stuff just forward and back without using the foot clutch or shifting gears. Really nice little tractor, actually. I really enjoy this little thing. It scooped 450 tons of chicken manure this year. Little workhorse for sure. Awesome little tractor. Now these originally would have had a big huge back hoe on the back of them. You can see the right there, you can see the hooks, and I'm not exactly sure how it hooks on, but it hooks there, and as far as I know, something would have went down through there, which I don't know. Some people have told me that this platform would have been in the way for this right here, would have been in the way for mounting that backhoe, but this is just what I'm told. I don't know, so maybe you guys have some information on that for me. But this right here is a Series 4 D17 platform, which again is kind of odd to me. I don't even really know what these hydraulics do, to tell you the truth. There is no hydraulics here. There's nothing hooked up. Yeah, that's got a hydraulic pump in it, but it's got the live hydraulic pump up front for running the loader, and then them do nothing. So yeah, and then it's got like the traction booster and all of that stuff and arms on it, but it's not a snap coupler tractor. So I don't know guys. It's all painted yellow like it's supposed to be on there though. Maybe somebody else knows more about that than I do. I can't even find a year on this thing when you look up the serial numbers. I don't know. I guess I got to just go with whatever the D15s were and go from there, I guess. but I can't find years. I can't find, so like I want a service manual for it. I can't find a service manual. You call up AGCO, they don't know what filter goes on there. Like, it's a nightmare actually trying to find parts for this thing. Like the stuff that's different from a D15, it's turned into a nightmare finding parts. I have a hydraulic filter on there for that front hydraulics, but I don't think that it's right. It's the one that AGCO sent me, and it just doesn't seem right. But anyway, moving on. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the D17s. As you see, we got 5 of them sitting here. One of each series except for a Series 1. And there's actually a part Series 1 down in my brother's shed. I could show you guys the grill. But starting down the line, this is my brother's loader tractor. This is a Series 2. However, people consider it a Series 1.5 for whatever reason. As far as I'm concerned, it's a Series 2, guys. But what people talk about with the 1.5, this grill is supposed to be black. That's a black bar grill. They call them black bars for whatever reason. Which there was only right in the middle of the Series 1 and the Series 2s, right at the start of the Series 2s was the only time that you're going to see that grill. Another thing about the 1s and 2s, if you look at the hand clutch here, see how there's not a thumb guard. So that's a dead giveaway of being an early D17. Just an early D series in general. Like I said, no thumbprint on there. As you see, the emblems are a little different. Series 1 is going to be pretty much identical to this. And don't mark my word on this, but somewhere along the line, I think it was a Series 2 where they updated the oil system. So I believe this one has an updated oiling system, but don't mark my words on that. However, this one's got the live hydraulic pump out here. It's got the nice loader on it. It's really a decent little loader tractor, to tell you the truth. Good little loader tractor. So that is the Series 2, 1.5, whatever you guys want to call it. So then we come over here and we have got a straight Series 2 diesel. I shouldn't say straight, because this is the one we put the 301 engine in. Now this is a Series 2, not a 1.5. Notice the hand clutch has got the thumb guard on it. And then the tin work, and it doesn't have the black bar grill. You know, we've extended this and stuff like that, so it's, I mean, there's nothing really factory about the front half of this tractor anymore. Almost looks factory though. I'm pretty happy with the job we did on it. A little bit more grinding on them hoods and some paint, you'd never be able to tell. So then we turn around and we have got the straight Series 2 diesel D17. That's actually got the 6-cylinder Buddha in it. One of Dad's babies. As you can see, the tin up there, regular grill without the black bars. And again, you've got your thumb print. Oh, another thing about, I want to show you on my brother's, something about the earlier D17s that's kind of special is the inner emblem. Get my gimbal to catch up. They were proud of their power steering at that point. So I've only ever seen these on the earlier models. Not saying they didn't put them on other models, but I've only seen them on the earlier models, so I don't know for a fact where they put them, but just one of them things. It's kind of cool. Most of them have the AC emblem in there. That one, I believe, is the only tractor on the farm that's got the power steering emblem on it. Okay, so I got smart and put my phone on do not disturb so we don't hear any more dings. So anyway, moving on from the Series 2 diesel, we'll push on to a Series 3 gas. This is the tractor that I pull with. It is a beast, to say the least. 18426 is on the back of there. Most people don't know this, but that gives you the same foot pattern as a 16938. I mean, it's wider and shorter. The 38 is longer and skinnier foot pattern, but as far as square inches on the ground, it's right within the same depending on what company you're looking at. But this is a Series 3. Not a lot of differences from the Series 2, to be honest with you. Just some trim on it, and kind of the same grill. Well, same grill. Series 3 gasser. Nothing special about this one. It's got big bore pistons in it. Runs like it's got a cam and all that other stuff, but as far as I know, it does not. Just Alice big bore pistons. So moving on, we got a Series 4 gas D17. Now that guy right there is what makes the Series 4 special. That's a live hydraulic pump, and then instead of your controls being over there, you've got your control console over here, along with traction booster and everything like your little bit newer aged Allis-Chalmers. Traction booster and controls all over there. Really nice tractor. This one's still stock, like bone stock. Probably one of the last 17s on the face of the planet that has got stock size pistons, because you can't even get them pistons anymore. When you order, they're all the big bore pistons. But I like this tractor. It uses about a gallon less fuel an hour than that one does doing the same job. Yeah, it doesn't have the power that that one does, but you know, for like cultivating and stuff like that, you don't need all that power. What you need is fuel economy. So moving on to the 19s. Frankie is supposed to be here. However, Frankie is right down there waiting for it to dry out so we can get the sweet corn patch sprayed. Walk down there quick. Alright, so this is Frankie, we call him Frankenstein. This tractor was bought derelict from a auction. The only person bidding on it was a junk man. We got it for next to nothing, the chassis, and brought it home, and this is what I have turned it into. The chassis itself is a 63, I believe. Yep, this one's a 1963. The engine in this is a turbocharged 433, which is a 4-cylinder diesel engine. It's take a 301, cut 2 cylinders off of it, and there you have it. Bore, stroke, pistons, connecting rods, they're all interchangeable. Same thing. So like I said, sawed off 301. They run a little bit higher RPMs. They're about 100 horsepower at the crank, which is not that much more than what the 262 Buddha was. They were like 85 or 90 or something at the crank, giving you that 72 horsepower to drawbar. So this tractor's probably got about 85 horsepower to drawbar with this engine in it, but it uses less than half the amount of fuel as a gas D19 does. This tractor is very fuel efficient and fun little tractor to drive. Like I said, so it's got the 433 in it. With the 433, I was able to put the live hydraulics from a 190 on it. Get around here. How do you guys have followed this along in my channel? But the hydraulic pump for a 190 had some leaks down here, so I got oil all over the place. I think we got solved now, but I haven't washed it. Anyway, live hydraulic pump, and you come down here, and we got a cylinder off of a 190. All of this casing and everything I welded on there to hold the cylinder. Had to weld the cross member on right there and put this piece under there for the tie rod ends. All that's off of a 190 along with the pump. These steps, the diamond plate is off of an old 190 platform. This all started because right there where the battery would go, the air cleaner is in there. There's nowhere else to really put the air cleaner, and I didn't have a place to put the battery, so I had to build a battery box, and it just kind of turned into this awesome platform with some old man steps on there. These steps do flip up. That way you can, like when we're spraying this, knocking the sweet corn over. Come up here, this is a spool, again, off of a 190. Just fabricated some handles on there and gave this tractor live hydraulics. I, again, love this tractor. Absolutely love this tractor. 18 434s on the back of it. And then we've also got the 3-point off of a 190 on the back of there. Kind of make it even more functional. So that's Frankie. Like I said, this thing is awesome. And Grandpa's old sprayer, still working. Crops out there. We've been nice to spray a few days ago, but rain came and the organic crops out there. I don't know if you noticed the lack of weeds out there. The sweet corn here is embarrassing. Now you look out there into the money crop, that's not embarrassing. So we're going to move on to the next D19s in the lineup here. Alright, so this is a stock D19 gasser. It's got the 262 gas Buddha in it. This was one of Dad's workhorses growing up, and it's continued to be a workhorse when we aren't worried about fuel consumption. Good old reliable tractor. Starts up, always seems to want to run. We had a couple of problems with, we think it was a coil overheating on it. I got a new coil on it now, but we haven't had a chance to run it for long enough to make sure that was the problem. But it would get warm, and then electronic, something, we'd quit getting spark, and points and condenser and everything, and that coil, usually what does it. When you lose spark, things getting hot. So hoping that problem is behind us. But other than that, this is a good running tractor. I think I said it's a 1963, same year as Frankie down there. They're like 100 off on their serial numbers. Again, just a good running stock D19. You guys see the plates missing? We have all of these plates. I'd be honest with you, my brother has problems with the electrical stuff. He takes them off and sets them in a safe place and doesn't put them on for the next time. And it doesn't really matter until you're trying to show them it looks better, right? But anyway, that's what a factory one looks like. The factory spools on there. There's a difference in the spools. These are some self-releasing ones. They go into a detent. The early ones didn't have the self-releasing, and then the later models even had a different self-releasing thing back here, to where you can pull it into the detent, it'll lift it, and then once it gets high, it'll pop out of the detent. Your early D19s did not have that detent on the spools here, so your later model D19s had the detent like this one. And then, like I said, these are open. The even later model than this one, these would have been closed off with like a rubber plug in the back of there. Kind of a giveaway of what you're, because there, there is no series 1, 2, or 3 on these. They're just a D19. So it kind of gives you an idea of when they were built without looking up the serial number, I guess. Moving on, my brother's D19 is supposed to be right here. Is pulling D19. He's got it hiding in the shed down there. I'll walk down and record that quick. So here's my brother's pulling 19. He's actually named it Nelson, after the bully on The Simpsons. Kind of get a kick out of that. How do you like that plumbing? That's professional right there. Tell you what. 18434s on this one. Nice setup for pulling. This tractor, he's getting her dialed in, and he overhauled it last year, and when he started pulling, it was not broke in, let's put it that way. You could tell by the way it was running. The rings weren't seated yet, and this year watching it pull, it's a little different story. The thing's got the power of a D19 now. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice. When I said that there was a parts D17 Series 1, there it is. What's left of it. We've used quite a bit off of it. I wish I could find the radiator. You just set that up there, right? Or the grill. It's right around somewhere, but you guys get the point. Here is my D19 I call Big Mike in memory of a friend of mine that passed away. This is the D19 with the 426 Allis-Chalmers Big Block, naturally aspirated diesel engine. This thing is a beast. I love this tractor. As far as pulling, it's fun. There's not many classes I can get it into, but when I do get it out, it is a blast. Definitely a conversation piece and a head turner for sure. I'm pretty proud with how this all turned out as well. Almost looks like it was meant to be in there, doesn't it? Almost, I said. The only thing we had to do was cut the tin out right there for the ejector lines. There's a whole playlist on building this tractor, so I won't go into details with it on what all we did. You guys can check that playlist out. D19 426 pulling tractor build. One thing I'll talk about is that gear reduction starter. Man, are those nice. I highly recommend them for 301s especially. But this thing is awesome. Just a smart idea I had, I guess. We'll put it that way. Smart idea or a dumb idea. WD front end hiding under there. Little tires. It is a beast. This one's an early one. I never have looked up the serial number on it, but it's like a 61 or a 62. It's earlier than the other ones. But moving on, we've got Grandpa's 190 XT Series 3. Grandpa bought this new with the 5-bottom plow. You guys see me using a plow day. Bought brand new. I guess the story goes, it just kind of showed up in the yard. He didn't tell anybody it was coming, and all of a sudden there's this brand new beautiful orange tractor and 5-bottom plow sitting there ready for spring field work. I guess, you know, at the time it was the biggest tractor in the neighborhood. Quite impressive back then. We still have it. Still runs great. I still use a plow. My brother and I put some steps on there, old man steps. Really nice tractor. Love that thing sitting up there on the platform and stuff. I don't know, it's just something about it. And then it being Grandpa's tractor, it's just cool. Pretty nice tractor. It needs to be polished up, I'll admit it. I think if we polish that sucker up, it'd look pretty nice. Oh, and that is a, what year is that? 190 is a 1970. Okay. Moving on, there's a gap here. This is supposed to be my brother's 7020. Not sure what year that one is. But he's using it. Didn't get it out here. So here's 7045. The 7020 has got a 301 engine in it. The rear ends on them are a little bit smaller as well. They're not as beefy. They look about the same, and you can't really tell a difference until you get them together. Once you get them together, you go, oh, I see. Axles are a little bit smaller. Everything is just a tad bit smaller on the 7020. So then this one here is the 7045 that I bought this year. Runs well, runs very well actually. Shifts, drives very well. Haven't been using it much because the air conditioning doesn't work yet, and I never did clean the interior of it. I just started using it. Now this one has got that T-shifter up there and power director on the floor. That's that knob sticking out. There's another one right there. So you got high and low on the floor there then, which is basically like your, you know, the hand clutch, except it's on the floor. Power director. You got high and low up there, and then you've got 5 speeds, and then you've got high and low down here. So you got plenty of gears to choose from, that's for sure. This one has got the 426 engine in it. Big main difference between this 426 and the 426 that would be in your 7060s. There's no intercooler. No intercooler there. So it's turned up, I don't know for sure, but they're usually running like 150 or so. What were they, like 145? I think that's why they're 7045. I think that's 145 factory. I don't know though, honestly. This one's an earlier model. It's got the metal tank on it. So it's like shortly after they switched over from the maroon bellies to the black bellies. They still have metal tanks on them. So this is an early black belly. It's got 18 438s on the back of it. I wish they were 20.8s, but they're not. And my brother had a set of duals I was able to use for it, so handled the disc just fine with them duals on it. But all in all, that is a good buy. I'm happy with that purchase, and once I get the air conditioning running and a new interior in it, that's going to be a really nice tractor. Alright, moving on. Here is the 7060. It's a 7060 chassis that then has a 301 engine in it. 301 is, it's out of a Gleaner combine. We've got it cranking probably a little bit too much than we should without the intercooler on it. But it's pushing like 130 horse. It's holding together so far. We overhauled that engine from top to bottom. It's got, I mean, everything in there is new. Mains, crank was polished. You name it, that engine was brand new when we got done with it. Been running great. This is a complete fuel miser. Doesn't use a lot of fuel. As you guys know, 7010s, 7020s are hard to come by. When the 426 in this one was bad, it spun bearings and all sorts of stuff that was wrong with it when we bought it. I had this engine sitting in the shed, $1,200 rebuild kit, along with some oils and stuff. Had to get a mounting plate for a 7020 to bolt on there, which was like $100 and some. It didn't cost much at all. It's been a runner. It's been a great tractor. It's got the power shift in it, which we got the paperwork on it shortly before we bought it, or well, before the guys retired it. AGCO actually redid the rear end in this one. So it should have about 5,000 to 7,000 hours of runtime on it before we have to worry about that. So this one should last me a long time, I hope. This one is the power shift. This one's got a new interior, floor mat, new interior in it. How well you can see it. This one got the cleaning. It spread all. This was the one that spread all the chicken manure this year, so it was pretty nasty, and it got a good cleaning to reflect that nastiness. Let's put it that way. This is a very nice one. Air conditioning works in this tractor. Pretty much everything works as it should, except for that wiper up there needs a new wiper motor. Other than that, everything in this tractor works like it should. real nice tractor. I love this thing. Love this tractor. So, moving on. Oh, that one is a, what year is that one? That one's a 1979. That chassis is a 1979. So moving on here, this is also a 1979. About 400 numbers away on the serial number between these two. This has got my big 8-row Buffalo cultivator on it. Just did our last pass in the sweet corn not too long ago. This is an actual 7060. This is a 7060 chassis with a 426 in it. We're talking on that 7045. The big difference, see this big intake here, that's got an intercooler in it. And then they turned these up. This pump is actually set at 192 horsepower, giving you about 170 at the drawbar. Guys turn them up a lot higher than that, but this 192 is a safe number. Let's put it that way. And then I don't really do a lot of things where I'm asking it to push 192 horsepower either. You know, there's not very often that I've got this tractor wide open, I'll tell you that much. And when it is wide open, you know, it's coming up a hill, I just needed that little extra oomph with the 24-foot field cultivator and the duals. This one's got the 20.8s. It's got fluid, 2 sets of inners, and then the set of outers. The tractor weighs probably 16 to 18,000 pounds. And I tell you, with this Buffalo cultivator, when that guidance kicks in, gets sideways, it'll start pulling this tractor sideways on the side hills, even being that heavy. So if any of you guys happen to have space duals for one of these, I would be interested. Let me know. But this is another good running tractor. I had a problem with the hydraulic line and thought that I blew the rear end this spring, and that's why I bought the 7045 and blah blah blah. I'm an idiot, and I found the line and this, that, and the other. Fixed it, and it's been running good. So now we've got an extra 7000 series tractor. The price I paid for it, I'm not mad. Let's put it that way. It's nice to have one on backup, because these are my workhorses. They see field work, obviously, as you can see. So move right around here. It's my brother's C2. I'm not sure the year on this, 60s. This has got the 262 Buda gas engine in it, which the D19 engine. I hate to watch his fuel while he's out picking in this thing, I tell you what. Especially I'm used to a 301 in my combine that doesn't use much fuel at all. But this is an awesome old machine. My brother's a fabricator, so he was able to... The death of these is right behind these. There's a single bearing carrier in there that goes bad, and the shaft goes bad, and that's usually the death of these. That's why they're sitting in the junkyards. My brother went out, he's looking for parts. He found that they're not good anymore. So what he did is he took that shaft out, and he fixed the bearing that was there, fixed the shaft, welded that up, and then he put another bearing carrier on there, so that now instead of a single bearing there, he's got a double bearing carrier with Timken bearings in there. As far as he's concerned, it's never going to break again. So that's kind of neat, but yeah, just a neat old combine. He recently bought an F3 with the 433 in it, hydrostatic, and it's going to be a big change going from this to that F3. I'll tell you that much. But still, this thing is just, it's neat. You don't see him. He's got this thing right. I mean, it runs and drives. I'm not going to say like a new combine, because it's, how old is it? You know, 60s. But it runs and drives a lot better than you would expect an old combine to do. Let's put it that way. Very cool old combine. All right, come around here. I said we had a couple of other colors. Old Oliver 99. If you're gonna have one of a different color, it better be a cool one, right? This is one that you don't see very often. Friend of mine that I grew up with, well, a few friends of mine, I grew up with the third generation of the original owner of this tractor. When I heard that they were having the sale, I had seen this tractor sitting in the shed. Since I've been young, I'd always thought it was cool. And when we heard that they were having the auction, we went down and we picked it up. And then at that same auction, this tractor went for next to nothing. And basically you can't even buy a used lawnmower for what I bought this tractor for. Massey 22, I think. It's kind of embarrassing that I don't know, but whatever. It runs well. The thing does like 24 mile an hour down the road. I mean, it just cooks down the road. There's no reason that it needs to go as fast as it does, let's put it that way. But it is kind of a nice little runabout tractor because of the speed. You kind of get from place to place really quick. Starts up easy. It's got that Continental 4-cylinder engine in it. I don't know, just kind of a cool little tractor, really. Only Massey that I've ever really been around. So then we got Old Glen. Now this is my combine. It's a 1977 Gleaner M2. Now you can see this is the first year that they were made. And how you can tell, you see this mesh right here. On the later models, I think 78 I believe they started, this was no longer mesh. This was actual galvanized and kind of rounded there and had like a round bin on it. You can tell the early M2s from that mesh. 438 black stripe head on it. Did some hunting to find that. I've done quite a bit of work to this to get it right. However, this combine is good to go now. Very proud of this combine. It's got the 301 diesel in it. First year I had it, this auger fell off. That was project. This shaft here was where this goes in and out for the variable speed. It's not a hydrostatic, it's variable speed. So this sheath goes in and out on the hydraulic cylinder right there. Right here on the shaft was wore out, and I ended up finding another shaft. I had the machine shop cut my shaft in half. This was off of the other combine, and the other half was off of a different combine. Other way around. The other half was off of my combine, this half is off of the other combine, the parts combine that I found. Reason being was this half of the shaft was the same as I needed, that half of the shaft was different. The shafts themselves were like $1,800 to buy a new one, and I just could not find a used one that was quite right, and that ended up costing me less than $400 to get that shaft fixed, and it's like brand new. So I'm pretty happy with that. I've got all new chains on this, mostly new belts on it. I don't believe that there's a single chain on the thing that I started with. The only thing that I haven't tackled on this combine so far is my air conditioning. Typical fashion, I guess, for me. Make sure that it's working and worry about the comfort amenities later, you know. If I don't have time, you just go out there in the heat and you deal with it. Last year it was like 80 degrees while I was picking the soybeans, and I'm not gonna lie, I was up there in my skivvies. What do you do? Especially in the soybeans, I'm not picking with that door open. I don't need all that. Got enough problems. But this is a really nice combine. I put all new seals, rubber seals in the rear end. Boy, it smells like mothballs in there. Doesn't smell like mice. Put all new seals in this, all the way up. Seals up there, if you can see them. You can't see them, but you can see my new rivets. Seals in there. There's some seals up there that you can't see underneath the stuff, but all of the rubber seals have been replaced. There's also a set that goes around the header up there, and those were all replaced as well. This combine also has the temp brass bars in it. Aftermarket brass bars have been hard surfaced. Didn't know that when I bought it. It was a added bonus that I found when I got to messing with things. So, but yeah, this is an excellent running combine. I'm very happy with this combine. For what I do, it's great. So yeah, that's the collection. Next year there's going to be another D19 sitting in this row of, well, there's only 2 of them, but there should be 4 D19s sitting here. Next year there's going to be 5 of them. Not this coming weekend, but next weekend I'm actually headed out to Ohio, out by Canton, and I'm picking up a D19 diesel factory turbocharged. It's actually got the 262 in it, new turbo on it, good running tractor. The grill's like half rusted out and it's missing a fender, but the thing runs good. And I can find a grill and a fender pretty simply, if you guys know the connections that I have. So that's not a big deal for us. But anyway, we're going out there, and there's also a Alice show out there that another one of my viewers that I talked to and become friends with. He said, "You're coming out here, why don't you check out this show?" So I'm making a little vacation of it, and we're gonna get some footage at that Alice show. I think it ought to be a good time. I'm caught up on the organic here, and I can afford to take a 3-day vacation to go get a tractor and look at some other cool tractors at this point. Now, about 3 weeks ago, I wouldn't have been able to, but. And then also, there's going to be at least 1 WD-45 diesel down there with them WDs, or with the W series, and there might actually be 2 WD-45 diesels down there. I guess you'd have to watch the channel to see where that goes and comes from. So yeah, I think that's about it. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. We got a lot of Alice Chalmers equipment, but I'm not gonna go around and record that unless you guys really want to see it. Lay a comment down there and say, hey, I want to see all that equipment. And we've probably got more AC equipment than we do tractors, so. But either way, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. If you like this episode, like tractors, give it a thumbs up. Helps to get the videos out there, and that way other people can enjoy it, kind of look at the collection. And I'd like to thank everybody that's been following along on the channel too. You guys are great. It's definitely made this adventure really fun. Never thought I'd be this far, and it's thanks to every single one of you guys that continually watch, and thumbs up and comments, and all the great conversations that I've had with the old timers and some of you guys, not even just the people that are farming, and just hearing the stories. I love hearing all those stories. So keep everything up, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Here's a WD-45 diesel chassis that we're in the process of getting the engine back for. It's a wide front, power steering, 45 chassis, so it's got the lower gear ratio. The gassers ran lower RPMs, and then the Buddhas, in order to get the same horsepower out of them, they had to run a little higher RPMs. So then the rear end was geared a little bit slower in these. Can't leave Rusty out. Believe it or not, this is a good tractor. I need to overhaul the engine, which is not a big deal. The biggest problem with this is I've been robbing parts off of it to keep the other ones going while I've been waiting to overhaul it. So there's a line that's missing that I put on the 7045, and I've also got the steering stuff. When I was trying to adjust the other 7060 for row cropping, I couldn't get the tie rod to adjust, so I've got the tie rod off of this one as well. A couple other little things for the hydraulic links in the back, but actually this tractor will start with a little bit of ether to start. Missed like crazy, but it ran here under its own power. Tires are like new all the way around it. I put a new interior in that one, radio. It's actually pretty nice. There's no air conditioning in it, but Again, this is not a power shift model. This is a power director model, which there's less problems with those rear ends. It's a big reason why I want to fix this tractor, is because the 17060 with the power shift has got 7,000 hours on it. As far as I know, it's never had work done to it. So from what I've read, it's just a matter of time until that rear end says screw you. And these rear ends are a lot more solid, more dependable. People don't like driving them as much because you don't have the gear selections, you know, that you can slow down. Personally, I kind of like these a little bit better. The power shift is nice and all, but when you're under a load, it's nice, it shifts nice, but when you're just driving the damn tractor, like turning around at the end of downshift, the thing jerks you around so much. It's just early power shift technology, and I'd much rather drive one of these personally. That's just me though. But moving on.